Good morning. Well, it is that time of year and I am taking down my Halloween decorations and I am going to put out the little bit of Thanksgiving decorations that I have. I am also going to add my fall decorations back into it to kind of bulk it up a little bit because I really don't have a whole lot of Thanksgiving decorations, but I do not want to skip Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is such an important time of the year where we just get to be thankful for everything that we have in our lives. Plus today I have two very ripe bananas that I would like to turn into banana bread. Every year I try to make banana bread, well, at least once a year in the fall, and I have not made it yet this year and we are pretty hungry for it. And I found a recipe for a 1-hour bread and I am going to try making it. I love homemade bread. I usually buy the frozen loaves of bread dough at Walmart and I put it in a pan and let it rise. But there is just nothing like fresh homemade bread from scratch. So that's what I'm going to accomplish today too. So come along with me as I am busy baking and decorating my home for Thanksgiving. Let's make banana bread. I am actually craving it and I cannot wait to bite into nice warm banana bread with melted butter, and I'm thinking I might be making some coffee to go with it too later on. I am doubling my recipe, but normally you would use 2 eggs and a 1/3 cup of shortening, which is Crisco, 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. This recipe is a recipe from my mom and I try to stick as close as I can to the instructions. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. Like the eggs I wasn't supposed to add in yet, but I go always add them in and they're perfectly fine. But now I'm going to add 2/3 cup of sugar, but I'm going to do it a little bit at a time. So I'm going to add a little bit of sugar, mix it, add a little, mix it until the sugar is completely incorporated into the batter. And mix that until it is light and fluffy. At this point, I'm going to add a little bit of the flour and alternate with banana, flour, banana until everything is mixed in together. For the flour, you're going to need 1 3/4 cup of flour, and then of course banana is going to equal 1 cup of banana. I've sprayed both of my loaf pans really well with cooking spray, and one of the loaves I'm going to add pecans, and then the other loaf I'm going to have no nuts in it, but the top of it I'm going to have a little bit of sugar over the top. It gives a really good crust with just a little bit of sugar sprinkled on the top. Then I'm going to put the loaves in the oven and they are going to bake on 350 for 1 hour. The other day, me and Jason were talking about the season of Thanksgiving, and I don't know, it just, one thing led into another, and we started talking about paying it forward, to pay something forward or to pay something back kind of a situation, because we always look for things to do. And it really got us thinking of all the different things that we could brighten somebody's day or bless somebody in a special way. And with all the controversy going on in the world right now, there's so much anger. I feel so much anger coming through our televisions, you know, through the news. There's just a lot going on. And I think that if each one of us took just a little bit of our time out of our day to pay it forward to somebody and bless them in a special way, I think that that could be a huge movement in the world. So I started coming up with some ideas about how I or we could pay it forward. One of them is if somebody is in the grocery store, maybe behind you in the line, and they don't have very many groceries, or even if they do, you could pay for their groceries. I've seen people do this before, and it just brings tears to my eyes to see the reaction of people when they step up to the cash register and the cashier will tell them the person that just was ahead of you just paid for your groceries. Oh my goodness, what a huge blessing. Another one, I'm sure everybody knows of this one, and it is in Starbucks or a coffee place, you pay for the person's drink behind you. So then that usually will catch on and tell the cashier that you want to start a pay it forward or pay it backward kind of a situation, and see how many people they can get going where each one pays for the next one's order. You can also do that in a restaurant. You can pay for somebody's dinner. Even with takeout, you can say, you know what, how about if I pay for the next person's takeout, and ask them the price, and go ahead and pay it, and tell them that the message to the people would be for them to pay it forward to the next customer. You know, we don't have to spend money to just bless somebody either. We can make a card and send out a card, or take a card over to a neighbor's house. A smile, just smiling at somebody, is usually enough to just bless somebody's day. Also, making banana bread or quick bread, maybe cookies, a casserole, maybe to an expectant mother or someone who has just had a child, someone that's sick or coming home from the hospital, or you know what? Just because. Something like that could bless somebody in their day. Another really good one is if it's raining and you have an extra umbrella, give that umbrella to somebody who does not have an umbrella so that they're not getting all wet, and tell them to pay it forward. Also, I think it would be really neat if, while you're washing your car or mowing your lawn, if you did the same thing for your neighbor. Just start washing their car, or take your lawnmower right over to their yard and mow their lawn for them. That would save them time out of their day, and they wouldn't have to worry about mowing their lawn. And if they say anything to you, just tell them, pay it forward. It's something that will catch if we all start contributing to paying it forward, to blessing somebody in their day. And I think that is a beautiful thing, and something that we all could use in our daily lives. Now I'm going to try my hand at the 1 hour homemade bread. This bread, it says it's a little on the crusty side, which would be perfect for dipping into soups, but I have been fascinated by this bread, and I found the recipe online. I'll have it linked below, but let's first see how it turns out. So you start off with just a tablespoon of light brown sugar, which I added that to the bowl. 1 1/4 cups of water, like lukewarm water basically. The recipe says that you need to check your yeast packet, which you can find in the, I believe the baking aisle has the rapid rise yeast. That's what I'm using because it says that the rapid rise is better than the other one. So I'm using this one, and this actually says I don't have to worry about mixing it with water first. I just dump it right in. So I'm going to add the yeast to the water and the brown sugar, and then I'm going to let it set for 5 minutes. Okay, now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 3 cups of flour. And it calls for 3/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. I don't have kosher salt, so I'm just gonna use regular salt. I'm going to put the dough hook on my KitchenAid, and I'm going to mix this until the dough is coming off from around the bowl. So I lifted the dough out of the bowl. I made it into a dough ball, which is just a ball of dough. Put it back in the bowl. I'm going to cover this with a light kitchen towel, and it is going to sit for 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so now I am flouring my surface. A little bit of cupboard here. I'm gonna take that dough, going to put it here, and it says to only knead it 3 or 4 times. I'm gonna shape it back into an oval is what I'm supposed to shape it into, and then cut, I think it's like 3 or 4 cuts across the top. Okay, don't mind the mess of my stove. It needs cleaned, and I'm gonna do that tonight. But, so you spray a baking sheet with cooking spray really well. Then you put the dough on the pan. Okay, it says to brush it first with olive oil, but I'm gonna cut the slices into it first. It says you can use kitchen shears or a knife. So I'm gonna do this first. Then I'm gonna brush it with olive oil. Then I'm gonna bake this at 400 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes. You can also put herbs on the top of this or sprinkle some salt on it, it says. This time I'm just gonna make it with nothing, just the olive oil, and I'm not even gonna do the salt on the top. Give it a good try and see how we like this, and I think this is gonna be a really good bread for dunking in soups. Giving you a close-up just before it goes into the oven. This is the banana bread. So this one is the one with the pecans. And this one is the one where I put the sugar on the top of it. Oh my goodness, they smell so good. Okay, while that bread is baking, I want to show you what I have done with my decorations. I brought out my fall ones and added the little bit of Thanksgiving decorations to my home. So I set the tray back out on my table, and this is how I decorated it. I have my little Tom turkey on there, and a candle will go inside of him. He lights up and it glows. It's so pretty. This plate I found on Mercari. It's a Raydon plate that says gobble. And then I just put a couple little fabric pumpkins in the corner. I really love this centerpiece this year. It's super cute. This is on the shelf next to my laundry room. So I put a pilgrim, a little boy and girl pilgrim, and then the fall bunny plate inside of a metal house. You can purchase those at Hobby Lobby. I just put some faux leaves and lamb's ear in there for fillers. On my vintage window, I hung the blackberry wreath back up on that. Coming down below, I have the thankful sign, and I have a white fabric pumpkin on a candle pedestal, and then the sign that says autumn skies and pumpkin pies. For my coffee station shelves, I found 2 bunches of wheat at CVS of all places. I've been searching for them, and I just couldn't believe I walked into CVS one day and there were bunches of wheat for sale. And those went into my galvanized metal bucket. And then I have a plate that I got this year at Hobby Lobby. It says thankful, blessed, grateful, and gather. And then I have the sweater weather coffee mug on a pedestal. And on both sides of the plate are these cute metal turkeys. I got these years ago, and you put a tea light candle in them. On the next shelf, I have this Give Thanks silver, sparkly, beautiful little pumpkin on a candle pedestal with my white barn, and this pumpkin from Hobby Lobby, and then another little boy and girl pilgrim. Underneath I have my fall window. I just hung that right back up, left the bow on it, and it's good. Over on my tiered tray, I added a fall angel, have a blessed pumpkin, and I moved the Indian corn up on this layer because on the bottom layer I added some pumpkins and a little black and white salt and pepper shaker that I found at Hobby Lobby this year. On the side I have autumn leaves and pumpkin please, and then just a little checkered pumpkin. The basket I left the same, except on the bottom I ended up adding these 2 little ceramic containers that says give thanks. Justin bought these for me years ago and I love them. The bread is fresh out of the oven and it looks really, really good. So now me and Jason are gonna cut it, put some butter on it, we're gonna taste test it. All right. It's good. The crust is crunchy, as you can tell. You can hear it, I think. It's good.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, it'd definitely be really, really good dipped in soup.
We're not having soup tonight though, right? Okay.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this style of video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to grab the recipes down below. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you soon.